Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh with MitsuTimes. Our special guest today is Greg Formosa. He is the driver of the Evo 10. He's got a couple of circuit times on our new NRG Ops circuit racing list. How's it going, Greg? How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm great, man. Hey, thanks for coming on board. I want to say congratulations on the Super Lap Battle victory. I watched some of the YouTube. It looked very impressive, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. So, how was Super Lap Battle?
Oh, man, Super Lap Battle this year. I think this year was probably their biggest year they had. It was my fourth year going, first year competing. So it was a whole new experience for me being on the other side from being a spectator and car show participant. It was awesome. I was very thankful I had all the people to help me out do it, and the guys from PhD Racing let me team up with them for this event. So it was overall like probably one of the best experiences I've had doing time attack so far.
Awesome. You know, for, like you said, you're not very experienced. I mean, you definitely seemed like you were comfortable out there on the track.
I've had a lot of hours behind Forza playing on Coda doing that. So
Okay.
That definitely helped out getting used to the track. There's obviously various differences between real world and sim racing, but I mean, I've had pretty much the whole direction of Coda pretty much down.
Okay.
It was just actually getting to feel it.
But it all paid off.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, it all paid off.
So tell us about your Evo 10 as it sits right now.
As it sits right now, it is pretty much a stock block, stock turbo Evo 10 SST transmission car. Pretty much did some suspension mods, your basic bolt-ons. We got a full radium surge tank setup in there as well, injectors. Like I said, pretty much all your basic bolt-ons, flex fuel setup, and lots of tuning hours trying to make sure this thing's not going to blow up at 93.
Cosmic Motorsports is behind you on the tuning, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they approached me last year after I went to Global Time Attack Road Atlanta. They wanted to put together like a small team to go do a bunch of time attack events and try to break into a different market.
That's awesome.
So they got to towards the end of last year, and we sat down and went over like my budget, where they think they wanted the car to go, where I could actually take the car and actually make Super Lap. The Super Lap's not cheap at all. Yeah, we just started from there, and then like we spent a good amount of time in the end of January into February just hitting the track and tuning the car and just making sure the transmission is going to operate right, and yeah, all the tuning and everything looked good on it.
Yeah, David's real knowledgeable in those SSTs.
Oh, yes, he is a wealth of knowledge, and so is their trans builder, Taryn. He knows a lot of the ins and outs of it as well, so they've been very valuable. Every single time I have a hiccup with it, I'm just like, what happened? Just messaging them, and they're just like, oh, yeah, it's just this. We just got to change this.
So what got you into circuit racing? I know people buy an Evo 10 and they think, okay, well, this is a drag racing car.
Really, when I bought the Evo was because of, I actually got into Evos because of Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay.
With that Evo 7.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to do rally racing with it. Was pretty big into like the X Games, rallycross stuff. Yeah. And then not long after I got mine, pretty much I had found Optima Ultimate Street Car Challenge, which I have not yet to go do that. I would like to try an event or two with that. But I was following some guys, Andy Smedgard, Brandon Randvik, and Ronnie Solomon and their Evos. They're out there just tearing it up and whatnot. And I'm like, I want to get into that. So what was it like a little bit later that year after I discovered all that, I got into autocross and then slowly made the transition over the years into getting on track and then learning circuit racing. Really like someone else just learning time, then getting into time attack, and really like one other time attack driver puts it, it's pretty much a drag race car that turns corners.
Yeah.
Pretty much what we're building.
What about how was the Evo X when it came to autocross?
It was pretty good. I started it out. I think the only thing I had on the car when I started was an intake. Yeah, it was really responsive. Once you start doing a little bit of suspension mods, big reverse sway bar, lower the stance a little bit, and it really started to come alive and pick up.
Okay. What made you choose the Evo 10 platform in the first place? Why not start with the Evo 8 and 9 since you were a fan of the 7 from Too Fast, Too Furious?
What was it? I was trying to find 8 or 9 at the time, and a lot of what I was finding, I was still kind of new to like the whole trying to find cars over the internet. And of course, back then when I got the car, the market wasn't as big as it is today. So a lot of what I was finding was a bunch of like everyone's project cars.
Right.
And I was like, well, I want a new car because that's kind of what I was looking for, was a new car and something new to drive around as a daily. And then I didn't really care for the Evo 10 a whole lot when it came out, but with like with me wanting the new car, I just started like watching Top Gear videos on it and other car reviews, and it just kind of grew on me, and then it was just, okay, well, let's go actually test drive one and see how I like it. Really just the fact that it's just I picked up a new car off the lot and I didn't really have to worry about anything with it.
So when you bought the car, you already had the plan that you were going to turn it into this circuit racing, or was you originally planning, like you said, a rally build or something?
So it was pretty much my thought set back when I bought it in 2013 was the typical any kid buying an Evo like that is, oh, I'm going to build this car show car that's going to go down the drag strip and I can take it out the back roads. Like, we're just going to full bolt on everything, make 500 horsepower, all this crap. But I had another car at the time that I was working on that, so that was pretty much, Evo was pretty much my daily, and I was doing small things to it. And then, yeah, as soon as like I had some of my Evo friends here in Houston at the time, they're like, hey, come out to autocross, try it out and whatnot. Then after that, it was just downhill from there.
So what different setups have you had? I know you said stock block, stock turbo. You just worked up to just the full bolt-ons that you have now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Pretty much was probably the past couple months is probably the most I've ever done to the car.
Okay.
In terms of, we did the whole fuel system, replaced the downpipe, and did a few various other suspension mods to it. Pretty much when I got into autocross and slowly developing into doing track days and whatnot, all my instructors, friends were like, don't go ham with the car, just work on driving, getting the nut behind the wheel all figured out. So I every year I would like budget a little bit of something, like, okay, well, I'll put springs and a couple things on this year. The next year it's like, okay, well, I have an intake, let's put an exhaust on, and then we'll tune the car to class rules, so on and so forth. And then there was a couple of years where I really didn't do anything to the car but drive it.
So if you could start over, would you still do the circuit build like you have it now?
I'd probably change a few things, knowing now kind of what I know. Like, I would probably change, like I have quality parts on the car, but I would probably go for like more titanium parts, lighter weight parts.
Okay.
Versus what I went for. Like, I have an ETS V2 dual exhaust on the car, and when I got that was early on in me starting all this out. I would have probably opted for now I'd probably opt for an ETS titanium single exit just to save weight.
Just out of curiosity, what does your car weigh compared to a factory Evo 10 with the SST?
So when we weighed my car, oh God, how much is it? I'll have to pull up the calculator because they gave me the weight they balanced the car with my weight in it.
Okay.
So with me in it, the car weighed 3,800 pounds. So I was 245 pounds of that. So the car weighed 3,555 pounds without me in it.
So definitely not a Miata.
No, it's not a light car at all. That SSC, I think the GSRs, the 5-speeds, are just a little bit lighter than that.
Yeah, that's what I was when I was doing some research. I learned that the manuals were just a tad bit lighter.
Yeah, that's just because they don't have the valve bodies and everything that the SST transmissions have. Because those transmissions are definitely heavier.
All right, we're going to pause for a little ad break. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by BeanFab. Keith at BeanFab does everything from custom fabrication, turbo setups, exhaust, intercooler pipes, transmission builds, porting, engine builds, and even wiring. He's one of the best in the business. You can find BeanFab products installed on many of the top cars on our MitsuTimes list. Contact them at beanfab.com. All right, Greg, so what motivates you to keep pushing this Evo 10?
Really really right now it's like the only car that I can afford currently at the moment. And also it's just not many people are really, like, outside of some of the shops and whatnot, not many people are doing anything with the SST cars. Everyone does a bunch of street builds. There was probably one other guy who was doing Time Attack. He had a track mod build he was running with Grid Life. He had the typical shift forward failure where the magnet falls off, and he's just lost all the, pretty much doesn't want to race anymore. No one's doing anything with the car, with the SST, like I said, with the SST transmission, and I've already built mine. It's already gone through all the stuff with Cosmic, and I'm just like, okay, well, let's get out and show people that, hey, these transmissions, these cars with these transmissions, they can do something. David's already proven it with his rally yard out at, doing drag racing.
Yeah, David's definitely proved that, the SST definitely has some potential.
Yeah, it's just having that, the money and the want to keep pushing through with, like, some of the issues that it has.
Yeah.
It is a finicky transmission, but when it works, it's like magic.
Your wrap kind of stunned the commentator there at the track. What's going on with your wrap? Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, that thing, the wrap. So that was something that because I'm a big fan of Japanese culture and Japanese anime in general, have been since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've always, like, going back to, like, the Fast and Furious and 2 Fast and Furious movies, when I saw those, was that I wanted to do a show car type of deal with, like, a wrap, and that was kind of, like, goes along with what I saw from the movies. But I wanted to put a twist of anime onto it, and then not long as, like, some magazines, there were some cars popping up that had anime themes on them. And then from there, it was just trying to figure out how to do it. But pretty much this is actually my second wrap that is currently on the car.
Okay.
I went with the same character. The character is Hatsune Miku, and we went with the race theme, because over in Japan, there's actually a race team called Gizmile Racing that uses that character on the car, and it changes.
Oh, wow.
The character. Yeah, the character design changes every year. So they race in the Super GT series over in Japan, and I think they have another Mercedes AMG GTR that is wrapped up with the character in a completely different design. So my friends over at Express Skins, when we decided to do version 2 wrap, we decided to do my own original custom, like, race variant of the character to kind of coincide with my race journey through Time Attack. And then we sat there, once we got with an artist and got down what we wanted and what I liked and stuff, we started going through design work and everything. But yeah, it's been a head turner.
Yeah.
Everywhere I take it.
You don't expect a race car to have such show car qualities.
Yeah, and that's what everyone here in Houston, because I showed up to Autocross, and they're just like, they over the years, like, we really can't give you crap about it anymore because you're the only one that shows up and is not afraid to throw it down on Autocross or a track and worry about it. Because the wrap does have a little bit of damage from, like, road to land when I went off.
So is this Evo 10, is that your first Mitsubishi?
Yep, my first one.
You got any planned in the future?
Right now, because, like, we discovered after CODA that exhaust manifold has cracked on it. So right now we're working on getting a new, probably going to do a MAF cast manifold, stainless cast manifold for it.
Yeah.
Right now we're trying to figure out getting a turbo, because we're going to be transitioning over into doing more grid life events, because there are more grid life events around us than there are global time attack events. So we're going to focus more on building the car towards the street class rule set for grid life. So right now Dave is trying to see how quickly we can get, like, an HKS turbo that fits within the rules of grid life. So that's what we're working on right now. After that, it's pretty much, I hate to say this because I did put safety stuff first, but it's pretty much off-season stuff for this year is going to be roll bar, seats, harnesses, all of that stuff. And then probably get with the suspension people that did my coilovers, and we're going to see what we can do about getting a little bit more out of it, out of the car.
Okay. So if somebody out there is listening, they got an Evo 10 or whatever, and they want to get into circuit racing, what advice would you give them?
Oh man, I have a lot for that. Just go out there and do it. The biggest hurdle is getting someone out there on the track to do it. Get with your local SCCA or NASA organization that has HPDE or other organizations like Trin Track Days, the Driver's Edge, or Edge Addicts. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Driver's Edge. Those organizations travel the country doing track days, and they offer novice classes with an in-car instructor for either a day or entire weekend. That's definitely the best place to start, in my opinion. You get the best bang for your buck out of that.
Okay.
Other than that, brake pads, brake fluid, and tires.
You think start with autocross and try to work your way into circuit racing is the best way to go?
You can do that. Either or. Autocross is a good starting point for learning low speed maneuvering and car control.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you're not going to get on the track. So there's a trade-off to doing. You can start there, or you can start both at the same time.
Okay.
It's just learning two different disciplines and then trying to blend the two together to work on a track in a track environment.
Okay, makes sense.
Some of the technical portions through CODA act like a slalom on an autocross. So, given my autocross background is more than a track, it was easier for me to figure out and cut through some of the S's and stuff.
Okay.
At CODA than probably a lot of the other people who haven't done autocross who would have to sit there and try to figure it out quicker. They have to it takes them a little bit more time to figure it out.
I guess it makes sense, it's not like you're going that fast in autocross, so. That's
the difference in change between autocross and track is that it's I can carry so much more speed going through this than I can in an autocross where I'm doing 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. So what are your goals for 2022 with this car?
Right now is like I said before, is get the manifold fixed and get the turbo on. We are trying to, Cosmic is trying to get another car buttoned up and done and get testing done on it. And we're looking to take it to Global Time Attack Road Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
So that's in May, Mother's Day weekend, I believe. Because that's actually, Global Time Attack is actually the support group for Formula Drift at Road Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So we'll that's one of the perks of going to that is that we get to watch Formula Drift for free.
Well, there you go.
And then after that, we're not going to do anything over the summer. I think we're going to try to shoot for Grid Life Alpine Horizon in Colorado Springs at Pikes Peak International Raceway in September. That's a huge event. Some will call it a party event because you have night drifting, all the big drift names of drifting come out. They actually have a rally course.
Wow.
Where they have, Bucky Lassick and all of them, they come out with their rally cars and they're on the rally course and everything. They take ride-alongs. It's a huge event. Then after that would probably be the Grid Life Finals at Topeka Raceway in Kansas.
So what are your long-term goals for this car? What do you want to eventually do with it?
Well, I want to try to make it, take that car and make it the Grid Life Street Class champ if I can. That's kind of like the long-term goal right there is keep developing my driving and the car along and see if we can be points champions for the year for Grid Life and Street Class.
Sounds fair enough. I mean, you're already off to a good start.
Yeah, it's definitely off to a good start, and now it's put in the hard work to learn and develop the car.
Yeah.
Because the car is still not near built to class, but we're going to work our best to try to get it there as quickly as we can.
So the three events that you just said, those are the only ones if somebody wants to come out and see this car in action, or see you in action since Cosmic is possibly fielding another car. Those are the events that they can see you at?
Yeah, those are the three events that me and Cosmic and my other sponsors are looking at going to. Well, definitely Road Atlanta is something I want to go to as much as I can because given the rules with Global Time Attack and Super Lap is that when you win a Super Lap battle, they give you one more year to defend an enthusiast class before they bump me classes.
Okay, that's cool.
So this will so I'm like, this is my last chance to go do Road Atlanta in enthusiast class and try to get the all-wheel drive record for that class. It was set last year when I went, and I was just under 3 seconds off of the record.
Oh, man.
And I was only pushing 300 horsepower then. Right now we're pushing a little over 350, but we get the new turbo on. We're probably making over 4. So definitely, and as long as I can put the power down and drive the car, it's with that record within reach.
That'd be awesome to see. So is there anybody you want to give a shout out to for, helping you wrench or have your back on this car?
Big shout out to my friends at Express Skins. They not only helped sponsor the wrap, but whenever I told them the whole thing of me getting into Global Time Attack Road Atlanta last year, and they were the first ones, they're like, we're going to help you go. And they helped fund and help me get the car there, and they were big foundation step for me to get Cosmic to want to come on board and do Super Lap and all these other events this year. Definitely Cosmic for all the help for Super Lap and the continuing help in the future. They helped out a lot at Super Lap. David and a couple of guys came out the entire weekend, and they were just constantly making adjustments to the car, asking me what it needs, how this feels, how that feels. Brake sponsor R1 Concepts, they've sent me quite a few rotors over the last year, so they've been a big help on that as well. My friends and everything that have all said, when I told them that we were starting this, and they were like, we're there, just tell us when. They helped me go out. They came out with me to Road Atlanta. They did Super Lap, and they're looking forward to some of the rest of the events throughout the year.
Well, Greg, I appreciate you coming on. I can't wait to see the Evo 10 in action, and I wish you the best of luck. Can't wait to see some more submissions for you, get some more times on the circuit track category.
Yeah, I'll definitely be more tracks I go to, and the faster times that I go, I will be posting them up.
Awesome, man. All right, thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.